You can support In the Past Lane by buying some of our merchandise, like shirts, hoodies, mugs, and stickers. Just go to our website, inthepastlane.com. Thanks.
Whoa, hit the brakes. You've arrived at the #1 drive-by for American history. Welcome to The Pit Stop. Brought to you by In the Past Lane, the podcast about history and why it matters. Here's Edward T. O'Donnell, your host and historian at large.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Pit Stop, your Monday morning source for history on the go in just about 5 minutes. If you're new to the podcast, we offer this feature every Monday in addition to our full feature episodes. Here's what happened in American history the week of January 7th, 2019. Let's start with birthdays. January 7th, 1800, the 13th President of the United States, Millard Fillmore, was born in Moravia, New York. Millard Fillmore had an unexceptional presidency, and his one claim to fame seems to be, in addition to his wonderful name, that he was the last member of the Whig Party to occupy the White House. January 7th, 1891, anthropologist and novelist Zora Neale Hurston was born in Notasulga, Alabama. Hurston wrote novels like Their Eyes Were Watching God and Moses, Man of the Mountain, that depicted the struggles of poor African Americans. Zora Neale Hurston once wrote, "Gods always behave like the people who make them." January 9th, 1913, that's the birthday of another President of the United States, Richard M. Nixon. Nixon was the 37th President of the United States, and he was born in Yorba Linda, California. He had a long and tumultuous political career that was capped by his winning of the 1968 presidential election. Nixon won again in a landslide in 1972, but was forced to resign 2 years later amidst the unfolding Watergate scandal. Richard Nixon, who was known for his bare-knuckles style of politics, once said, "People react to fear, not love. They don't teach that in Sunday school, but it's true." January 11th, 1755, Alexander Hamilton was born in Charlestown, on the Caribbean island of Nevis. Hamilton, as just about everybody knows these days, was one of the key founders in the era of the American Revolution and early Republic. His most significant role was serving as Treasury Secretary in the administration of George Washington, and he's widely recognized for putting the new nation's economy on a sound footing. Alexander Hamilton once wrote, "A national debt, if it is not excessive, will be a national blessing." And if you want to learn more about Alexander Hamilton, check out In the Past Lane's episodes number 23 and 71. January 11th, 1885, women's rights activist Alice Paul was born in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Alice Paul played a key role in the final push for gaining women the right to vote, and she's best known for organizing women to picket the White House, holding signs calling upon President Woodrow Wilson to back women's suffrage. He eventually did. Alice Paul once said, "There will never be a new world order until women are part of it." All right, let's turn to events. January 7th, 1789, George Washington was elected the first president of the United States. He wasn't elected by popular vote, but rather by state electors who were chosen by popular vote. 1 year and 1 day later, on January 8th, 1790, George Washington delivered the first State of the Union address. January 8th, 1811, one of the largest slave revolts in U.S. history began in Louisiana. It began on a plantation, and before long, an army of about 500 enslaved people began to march towards New Orleans, determined to gain their freedom. But the revolt was quickly and brutally crushed by the U.S. Army and local militia. Exactly 4 years later, on January 8th, 1815, also in Louisiana, American forces under the command of General Andrew Jackson defeated the British in the Battle of New Orleans. The funny thing is, the War of 1812 had actually ended a few weeks earlier, but word of the peace treaty had not reached either army. This victory made Andrew Jackson a national hero and put him on a path to the presidency. And if you want to learn more about Andrew Jackson, check out In the Past Lane episode 10. January 9th, 2007, not that long ago, Steve Jobs, chairman of Apple, unveiled at the company's annual Macworld Expo a new device called the iPhone. Today, said Steve Jobs, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. January 12, 1912, one of the great strikes in U.S. history began in the industrial city of Lawrence, Massachusetts. It started when mill owners announced a pay cut, and before long, some 20,000 workers, almost all of them immigrants, walked off the job. Known as the Bread and Roses Strike, it lasted 2 months and ended in a rare victory for workers. Okay, it's time for the last word. Let's give it to President George Washington, who 229 years ago this week delivered the first State of the Union address to a joint session of Congress. Washington opened by saying, "I embrace with great satisfaction the opportunity, which now presents itself, of congratulating you on the present favorable prospects of our public affairs. The recent accession of the important state of North Carolina to the Constitution of the United States, the rising credit and respectability of our country, the general and increasing goodwill towards the government of the Union, and the concord, peace, and plenty with which we are blessed, are circumstances auspicious in an eminent degree to our national prosperity." And then, after going through a lot of particular things, George Washington closed by saying something that our current leaders in Washington might take heed of. "The welfare of our country is the great object to which our cares and efforts ought to be directed, and I shall derive great satisfaction from a cooperation with you in the pleasing though arduous task of ensuring to our fellow citizens the blessings which they have a right to expect from a free, efficient, and equal government." Okay, people, that's your History Fix of the week. Now put it in drive and go make your own history.